Sun's going down, Giant's Castle, the Thumb. We're on our way up to the escarpment to hike. Well, tonight we're going to stay at Bannerman's hut. Show you when we get there, if there's still light. And tomorrow we're going to go up the pass and then come down Langalibalele pass. So we are at a fork now. If you go right towards that amazing view, you go towards Bannerman's hut, which then leads you to Bannerman's pass up the escarpment. But if this has tired you out, you can also choose to go left here. If you go left, it'll take you along the Langalibalele ridge. So just a contour along this mountain. If you look there, there's an eland. Sorry, my camera is not the best. A little lone eland. Sacred animal of the mountain. Of the bushman. Yeah, so you can just loop it back. And that's about a 17-kilometer loop back to the car park.
Yeah, easy day hike if you're fairly fit.
So it's a pretty chilled out day hike, like I said, if you're pretty fit. Going a bit case to Bannerman hut.
And then from here we'll go straight on time.
Yeah, all the way. A best and beautiful morning from Bannerman hut, the coziest hut I've come across in the Drakensberg, and so well maintained. It is, I don't know, 9th of July. The weather's amazing. Headed up from Giant's Castle Camp yesterday, and today we're heading up the pass, which is in front of me. We're looking at around 17 k's today, give or take. Let's see if I can show you inside it. Little living space, kitchen. We need a wipe still. Look, there's no running water, but used to be a toilet. But it's incredibly clean, incredibly tidy. Warm, so warm. And then there's 2 little bunk bedrooms like this, so it sleeps 8 people. Between those 2 little mountains, you see that little gully? That is Bannerman's Pass. We're gonna go up there today. We came up from the Bannerman contour yesterday. So this pass is about 850 meters of elevation gain over 3 kilometers, which is not too bad. Yeah, you can see it nicely now, that little pass. Yeah, it's not too bad because you get some passes in the book that are 3 kilometers with 1,000 meters elevation gain. So everything we're doing so far has been Bannerman Face, Hut, Pass, Contour Path, but we're gonna come down way over on that side that you can't see down Langalibalele Pass, which has a ton of history, which we'll give you in a bit when we get there.
So if you look to the right, they call that the Bannerman face, because they say it looks like Mr. Bannerman, who was some politician from the UK. This hut over here, interesting story about it. So in 1963, the director of Giant's Castle went to Rhodesia, which is now known as Zimbabwe, and he saw a mountain hut, and he was like, if they can do it, so can we. So then he built this one here in 1965, and it's a really beautiful hut. There's actually 2 other huts over here as well, Giant's hut and Meander hut.
Meander hut.
Unfortunately, a veld fire burnt them down, but we heard they're repairing it and it should be open soon.
Yeah, they doing those up again. So important information about this place. There are a lot of rivers on the way up. Some people say they have gotten sick from drinking from the water below the hut, but we boiled the water last night, collected from the river down there. But on our path going forward, you always have to look at the map, because today we actually only passed 1 river at the start of our hike and then 1 at the end, which means most of the day we're actually without water.
Yeah, so we're going to fill up on the one on top of the hut, because the one to drink, because the one at the bottom, we're a bit skeptical of that one there. So another interesting fact, Giant's Castle, it opened up in 1903. Yeah.
And 2/3 of the way up Bannerman's Pass, there's a cave called Spare Rib Cave. So we're going to have a look out for that. and hopefully we find it and you get to see it. But if you look from here, I don't know if you can see, but there are at the moment quite a few caves in front of me anyways.
And
Whoa.
yeah, the views are really great because it's winter, so you get some really cool views of the peaks. Highly recommend hiking this time of the year to avoid thunderstorms.
And now the sun's coming up.
Oh yes, there it is. So to get an early start, we woke up like at still night, so we can prepare our breakfast. And yeah.
Okay, keep you guys updated. Good?
Yeah. Bruce, was it necessary to draw a dick? Are you trying to make up for something you don't have?
There's Bannerman's hut down there. We're going up the pass. It's a pretty gentle pass by Berg standards. It's actually pathed. And there's the pass. We're going to Spare Rib Cave. It's like 2/3 from the hut, which is all the way down there. And we still got all of that to go. It's taken us about just under 2 hours. That looks like Spare Rib Cave, but it's not. What you actually do is walk along the little rock face here, come around, and there, that palace. With the nice, they put a skull there to mark it actually. That's Spare Rib Cave. It's actually a beautiful view. Pass, the view, Spare Rib Cave.
Quite big.
You
can put the maximum berg capacity of
12 people. Oh, it's wonderful. It's huge. Yeah, we can sleep here.
So guys, welcome to Spare Rib Cave. It's almost at the summit of Bannerman's Pass. I would say around 2/3 to the pass. So from Bannerman's hut to here took us 1 hour 45 minutes with our big overnight packs. They say a pass every kilometer should be like approximately 1 hour. It should take you 1 hour, so I think we're doing fairly good with time. It's a massive cave. It can fit up to 12 people, and in the Drakensberg, 12 is the maximum one cave can accommodate due to the regulations. It's a huge overhang, massive. So we had our lunch break over here, and now we're gonna keep pushing to summit Bannerman's Pass.
It's a great cave, but in summer it might be a bit cold because at the back there's a little bit of dampness and there's some dripping. So you won't be able to sleep there. Even now, there's something dripping here.
Yeah, that's why we slept at the
In
hut.
the summer it will be wet. So you might need a tent.
Yeah, no, definitely. Always good to have a tent. Reason for that, in case, it's damp. Let's look at the views from here, if we can see our hut. Let's have a look. Oh wow, we actually can see our hut. Let me try to zoom in to it. Wait, did I lose it? There's it there, guys. There's Bannerman's hut. Because from the hut, we kind of noticed the cave. But don't be fooled, because when you're entering, you enter like a false cave to my left. And this is the pass, so we climbed all the way up. Now we just need to complete the climb.
Time to overshare for education. So, good news for Hamza and I, bad news for me. I got my period. Good news, I can still carry on hiking. Maybe a little bit of discomfort, but we're good. Most importantly, and the take-home message here is, girls, you carry on hiking, but you just remember to take all your goodies. Always bring a Ziploc bag, tuck them away neatly in a Ziploc bag, and dispose them into a proper bin at home. Don't put them into a cat hole, don't hide them in a bush. They are never going to biodegrade. So unfortunately, take it home. save the planet. So now the fun part starts. It's been mostly like steep path so far. I mean, it hasn't been easy, it's been steep, but it's been paths. Now it's just boulder and rock hopping. You can see some frozen waterfalls on the way up, but we're almost there. But yeah, bit of rock climbing, bit technical.
Okay guys, this is probably the steepest part. We have like half a K to go to reach the top of Bannerman, but it's like more than 100 meters of elevation. Quite steep. Let's see how we do. Let's show you where we came from.
I actually can't see the bottom.
Oh, you can't see the bottom from here. Guys, most of the paths had like parts only towards the end. We have to do some boulder hopping, so this is the fun part. And after this, we'll be done with the path.
A closer look at the frozen falls. It's absolutely beautiful. High up you can actually see, well, in the video you can't. There is water falling, which then comes down. Freezing. Beautiful. Icicles. Falls down, down, down. Into the below. Bushman's River. No, Bushman's River is in Langis. I think it's Marshall Eagle River. At 3,100 meters. We did the pass in about 3.5 hours, but we took a very long break at Spear Rib Cave. Most of the path was pretty nice, but the last part was pretty treacherous, pretty hectic, horrible.
But fun.
But definitely, like, it's a very fun pass. There were like frozen waterfalls and the cave, and it's fun. It's not boring.
Oh.
So now we gotta go over a ridge.
Another 100 meters of elevation.
100 meters. Our highest point is gonna be
3-2, and then we're gonna contour along the escarpment and then drop down via Langalibalele pass.
So let's go.
Okay guys, so we just got out of the pass, we summited, and I'm not sure if you can see a whole lot of sheep. So they're probably accompanied by a shepherd, and he's probably a Basotho, which is a native from Lesotho. So we shall explain more about the Basotho and the sheep later.
Basotho ponies, that little snowy patch below the mountain in the middle, that's where we came up. We've passed our highest point. We're on the escarpment now, technically Lesotho, and now we're dropping down to find Langalibalele Pass. Langalibalele Pass with some Basotho ponies.
Found some horses. Well, these are more like pony horses, quite strong because of the terrain, and the local Basotho people tend to use them up here. Earlier on we noticed some sheep. Actually, how I noticed it was that I heard it because they had bells. It jiggles. So the Basothos, they live up over here, especially around the teenage years, because they go through the initiation where they need to become a man. So they live up here in the mountains without their families, and they need to look after their sheep. So that's why you often see them with their herd. They take it to graze. That's why you should never ever smoke a cigarette and flick it on the grass, because it can cause a fire. Also the animals can choke on it, and you shouldn't be littering anyhow. So yeah, when you access a pass, you're actually getting access to Lesotho. So Lesotho is the highest, lowest country in the world. I'm probably going to say this in a lot of my videos. Might sound like an oxymoron, but what it means is that the entire country is above 1,400 meters. So when we look at the Drakensberg from South African side, we just seen like the edges, the what they call it in Zulu is ukuhlamba, meaning barrier of spears, because of the peaks. But once you're on top, this is all like what's behind me. It continues further. It's all like Lesotho. So that's why you see the Basothos. So Basotho is plural. The singular is Masotho. Okay. Yeah, so that's the lesson. So we're now making our way to Langalibalele Pass. It's all downhill from here. Yet again, a stick comes into handy. especially if you don't want to hurt your knees, if you have weak knees, or maybe in the future you can damage you can get some knee problems. So we advise people to use sticks from now, from young, to protect their knees for the future. So here's another geography lesson. Sadia is in South Africa. I am in Lesotho. So what divides the two countries, geographically speaking, is the watershed. Do not worry about the maps. When you read that, that's some, I don't know, politician who didn't know what he was doing, and he divided it not according to the watershed. So the watershed divides the two countries. So I'm about to cross the river, and then I'll be back in South Africa. Wish me luck for my international travel. Okay guys, we're now on the top of Langalibalele Pass. You can tell we're on top of the pass by the cans, not me, but those. So there's a lot of history that happened over here at Langalibalele Pass. This pass was known as Bushman's Pass before, because I think the Bushman's River flows through here. But they changed it to Langalibalele Pass. This was because of a chief called Langalibalele. He was the chief of the Amashlubi tribe. Now the Amashlubi tribe, they're a Bantu-speaking tribe, but they originally come from Congo. So in the late 80s, I'm not too sure the exact year, but somewhere in the late 80s, the Amashlubi people started working on the mines in Kimberley because of the diamond rush. So they got paid, instead of cash, they got paid in exchange of guns. Then what happened was, at Escort, the British said that everyone who has a gun needs to bring it in to register it. So Langalibalele, he rebelled against that. He didn't do it. So then what happened was, the British basically chased the clan away. So he came up this pass over here. So the British also came up this pass. And at this very pass on top, there was a skirmish that happened, like a battle that happened. So even though the British had way more people than Langalibalele, they underestimated the terrain of the mighty Drakensberg. So the British actually lost 5 people. I think out of that 5, 3 were British, and then 2 were like locals who were under the British. And because they lost so many men, they had to retreat. Then Langalibalele, he then lived in Lesotho, because if you look behind us, that's Lesotho by the watershed. So a chief took him in. I forgot the chief's name, Mashlope, I think. So what happened then was, the British, they went back, they recouped, and they went on a killing spree. They killed, I think, around 200 innocent men, women, children. And then what happened was, the chief, he couldn't have any more killings, so then he had to hand over Langalibalele. He handed him over to the British, and then he got banished to Robben Island for life. However, he got released after 2 years. So Langalibalele was one of the first, or if not the first, to rebel against colonial powers. And he's buried somewhere near here in this giant castle region. Mandela even went to his graveyard site. Mandela also went to John Dube's graveyard site. John Dube's middle name is actually also Langalibalele. So yeah, a lot of history in this pass that we're at right now. So this is a beautiful wide pass. Like Bannerman's was a bit more enclosed. This has some big open space. It's fairly a easy pass in Berg standards. And this one here is also 3 kilometers like Bannerman, except your elevation gain is around 750 instead of 850. But it's a very scenic pass. Great mountains. Here's a tip, guys. If you ever come across flowing water in winter in the Drakensberg, please fill up, because you never know. Even though there might be a river on the map, it could be frozen like this one. So guys, we just got down from Langalibalele Pass in 1 hour, which isn't that bad. 3 kilometers with a around 750 meter descent. So guys, we just got down this pass. Here's a nice waterfall. Took us like an hour, and it's 3 kilometers with like a 750 meter descent. Very scenic pass. And now we're going to follow the Bushman's River and complete our loop.
So guys, the hike loop that we did is a bit hectic. We did it in 2 days. 28 kilometers, 2 passes, that's Langalibalele and Bannerman's Bannerman Pass. So 2 passes. It's also about 1,500 meters of elevation over those 30 kilometers in the 2 days. So it's quite a hectic hike. Would not recommend for beginners, definitely advanced. But what you can do and still experience the amazing views and the most cozy hut, which is Bannerman Hut, is here. We're at the intersection, so you can do a nice loop, a contour loop, where you still see this majestic mountainscape behind me. So you contour along here along the Bannerman's face towards Bannerman Hut. You can stay the night there, or you do in reverse. Probably better. Come up Bannerman, stay at the hut, because then you get greeted by this the next day. It's much easier, less distance, probably half the elevation.
So if you want to do this in reverse, then you'll have to ascend via the Langalibalele ridge, follow it to your right, and then cross the river, the Bushman's River, and join the path up there. It's quite scenic this way as well,
Yeah, look at that mountainscape.
surrounded by such big mountain ranges.
It's very nice.